Hello folks, Frankie Day here on YouTube. Okay guys, this is the second video I made this evening. The first one was an inbox review of my Revell Germany 1/72 scale Shackleton anti-maritime patrol bomber. And this is going to be a build of my GLOBEMASTER. This will make video number 2, I believe. Okay fellas, as mentioned on the last video I did, old Frankie Day is going to change his MO a little bit. And I'm getting kind of bored looking at myself and going to a model and come back myself and finish up the video. And the young fellow on Rebel Cloud 9 kind of inspired me in his videos on how he builds his models and stuff. He's relaxed, he's his normal posture, how he wants to present his video and build his models. And it was very, very inspiring. So there's quite a few other great models out there that do the same thing, so I might as well just go in and jump in too. So what I'm stating now is, fellas, I'm going to start to make a lot of these build videos with my models. So that'll kind of spice up the video a little bit and make it more interesting for you viewers out there to watch. And I had one commentator on there that commented to me that he was expecting to see a build, and it wasn't done. It was more or less presented and subsequently constructed and all final reveal. So Frankie Day is always good in taking constructive criticism, so I will honor that suggestion from that gentleman, and I'll start making these builds with build videos, maybe actually building models. And so I'm going to delve in and see how this is going to shake down for me. And speaking of shaking down, this is the GLOBEMASTER video tonight, video number 2 from my C-124 GLOBEMASTER by Anigrand. Anigrand is a manufacturer for resin kits. And before we swing to the build, like I say, these resin models, guys, are very, very, very difficult to fool around with. Sometimes the parts don't fit too good. There's a lot of warpage. Most of the time there's a lot of warpage in it, so to remove warps from resin is make sure you got some hot boiling water and let it steep for a while. Then take that part, immerse it in that nice hot water for a while, and what it does, that resin will be pliable. Then lay it on the counter and put a weight on it. Make sure that when the weight's evenly distributed on top of that part, when as resin cools down, it'll remain in the normal state the way it's supposed to be in the first place, besides being warped. Okay guys, we're going to swing around the GLOBEMASTER, and I'm going to introduce to you how much I've done on it and what I'll be doing right now, and then we'll finish up the video and stand by for another one. Okay guys, right now we're going to swing over and get hot and work on the C-124 GLOBEMASTER. Okay guys, let's build this GLOBEMASTER. Alrighty, here we go, boys. The camera position, good. It's close enough right there. Okay, guys, over here, as you can see the fuselage has been all together. It's been all primed. I primed the fuselage about 2 times, and there was a lot of filler because the fuselage is joined together right here. As you remember, guys, from the inbox review of this kit and also the last video. So it took about 2 or 3 applications of Bondo putty or glazing putty as my finishing filler. And the model's put together with acrylite instant jet glue, because resin plastic will not adhere too good, fellas, with regular glue such as this wonderful Tamiya Extra Thin, and also your famous old standby tube cement, or any other glues you got in the exposals, such as Plastex right here. Somehow resin is not too keen on that kind of a cement, so the best thing to use on that, got to be very carefully using proper wear, is used as acrylite glue here, fellas. This stuff here will make resin go together the snap. And it'll be there forever. Okay guys, so far the fuselage has been all primed. Tomorrow I'm going to wet and dry sand it tomorrow. Get it nice and smooth. And go ahead and get one final prime. Right now we're working on the wings. Before you work on the wings, let me introduce a few things here. Right here are nacelle halves. They fit on the wings. You got four halves make 4 nacelles right here. This baggie right here consists of the landing gear struts. Inside this baggie right here, fellas, in these landing gear struts right here, there's wire inside there, which is that reinforcement. So this actually is resin that's been molded over the wire. It gives those shaky, stouty legs for her to sit on pretty. And over here, guys, is the remainder of all the parts. This little baggie right here, it's got oodles and oodles of parts. Got landing gear doors, tires, engines, prop blades, prop bosses. It has the radar that fits in front of the nose. And all these resin parts are very excellently executed. And it's got the wing heater tanks right here, as you can see, which goes on the wing tips. And right over here, you got the wing tip right here. In case you want to make the A model, you can go ahead and fair that over the wing tip. And don't worry about putting the radome on. You can make a really C-124 GLOBEMASTER. Okay guys, that's it right there in the fuselage department. Now we're going to go over and build the wing. Okay guys, right here as you can see are 4 wing halves. You got the top wing. You got the left top and the left bottom. As you can see on this video here, this landing gear is very highly detailed in there. It's all boxed in. So the undercarriage fits right in there like so, and it's the landing gear doors fit right next to there. There's the landing gear strut boss right there with rest on, which is the AC seat on there. And right here, these little openings here in the wings here, these are where all your flap bearings come up, like the triangular pieces. Those are your flap bearings. So the C-124 GLOBEMASTER had Fowler flaps. They came out and they lowered similar to that to the C-54 Skymaster. And those fairings right there, which actually actuate the flaps. Okay, guys. Right here, I did some sanding here and there on this wing here. This resin. A lot of these parts got to be prepared real good, fellas, before you commence assembly, because resin is almost like that with flash on polyurethane plastic models, polystyrene, and you got to make sure all these parts are nice and clean and smoothed out with your file board. And you got little tips on here on these little tongue right here. This is a tongue and groove wing assembly. This here is your tongue, and it plugs right into your fuselage. And right here you got a little lip right there. That's the casting where the wing was casted on. So you take your file board and very gently level, keep it flat, apply even pressure on there, because you start going this way, you're going to file a radius on there. You're really going to mess things up. That same thing when you're mating with plastic. You can see all the fuzz coming off there. It's pretty well clean. And one thing about resin folks, especially when you're painting it, it's always good to take 320 wet and dry sandpaper and rub the whole model down. What you're doing is that you're creating like scratches in there, little fine scratches that'll adhere to paint. Because sometimes on resin, believe me, fellas, I had a resin kit from an unknown manufacturer. I don't know who it's from. It was a resin kit. It was a C-45 Expediter, 1/48 scale. And it was all aluminum. It was a beautiful paint job. I went over and took the tape off like that. All the paint pulled off and left the resin color on there. And I said, what am I doing wrong? I had primer on there, on everything. So what you got to do is stick your thick sandpaper on your finished, on your resin like this. Then you apply your primer. So that primer will stick to those scratches right there. Then the paint will stick to that primer. You just cannot paint over bare resin. So the tip of painting resin models in preparation is that to make very quite certain that the bare finish is somehow scuffed up a little bit. So it leaves fine scratches there for your primer paint to stick to. That's what I did on the fuselage. So I don't have to worry about it. I have no fears of having aluminum paint come off that fuselage after doing a few maskings here and there. Okay, I just kind of went over with a file board, fellas, and kind of right here I'm just kind of make sure all these edges are nice and fine and smooth and straight, and scuff them up a little bit so that the glue will fit them. Now, one thing I like about the fit of this wing here, of these wing assemblies, is on the trailing edge of the wings here, you get a lip right here. There's a lip. And as a guide, there ain't no locating holes on these wings for your wings to fit on like you do on plastic models. So what they did, they kind of gave us modelers a little lift right there. This lip right here, well, the trailing edge of this wing right here, of the left bottom wing, will go up against the trailing edge of the top wing, and it's pretty well locked in there. Now, before you glue this down with ACC, fellas, you got to make sure that the wing roots are level, because I notice right now that this thing is off probably about a good almost 1/64 of an inch. So by bringing the edge over a little more this way, it's level. It'll be straight with the wing. So what you do is spin this wing right here. Make sure it's securely in place. And you want to make sure this thing is locked. And by locking it is by making sure that the trailing edge of the bottom wing hits up against that lip right there. Then you add your ACC glue. A little capillary action. And checking, make sure that your wing roots are flush, so it plugs in the fuselage. You're not going to have any gaps. You come over here with this here. Do the same thing. Give it an application of jet. That'll fill in the gaps. It's going to take a little filler in there, fellas. A little filler in there. So what I generally do is I give us a little capillary action. Do some ACC glue right here. Wiping off excess ACC glue with a nice clean paper towel. This will keep your hands from sticking, fellas. And right here is the edge of the bottom wing, which goes up to the top. That's going to need filler in there too. So what I need to do is right here is just go ahead and add some ACC right there. That'll secure that. And you apply a little ACC right there on the wing roots. Hold in place. Have a little ACC right there on the leading edge of the wings. Pressing down real well. Secures it in place. Not very much filler here, fellas. The same thing is done on the outer wing panel using your ACC glue. That right there will secure the wing. That's real secure, fellas. Need to add a little more right here. I try to use this stuff as sparingly as you can. You take your file board here, using the finest grit there is, and sand the leading edge of this wing. And all that fine dust right there that you're sanding will fill in those joints right there without the aid of using filler. That's one thing good about using acrylite glue, fellas, and when you're using your sanding board to sand down the leading edges of these wings, it creates all this dust, which is very fine dust, like talcum powder. And what it does, it fills in the very, very small nooks and crannies and little small cracks right there, which you can't get down anymore by squeezing on it. This is pretty good here. This wing's all right. You're taking your board again, where the net cells are joined. What you do is give it some acrylite glue here, a little right here, and that acrylite will seal those nestles right there. That's pretty well sealed there. You come back over here, you put the wing over, and repeat the process all over again. Where the nest cells meet, you fill in. And like I say, this stuff here is ACC. This is good stuff, but like I say, fellas, before, you know, as a safety tip, I can't stress it any more than I have to. It's always best to use protective eye gear and also use a respirator, because this stuff leaves off fumes, fellas. And you ingest those fumes in your lungs, you can get cause yourself get lung cancer or anything, you know. So it's always best to go ahead and protect your eyeballs and protect your lungs, and just a precautionary measure to keep yourself well. See, by sanding those nest cells right there, folks, I'm doing right here with this emery board or sanding stick, what you call it. It fills in those seams right there because you already got that acrylite glue. And one thing about I noticed about the resin, fellas, is when you're sanding it, it leaves off an odor, a smell. all resin has some kind